Hello, friends! This is the Clueless Filmmakers Podcast, the show from amateurs for amateurs, spreading the good word of stumbling, bumbling, making mistakes, and not knowing what you're doing until you're suddenly doing it right. Thank you for joining us today. I have an awesome show with some people who aren't Mormons or from Utah or in any way related to BYU for once. And it's very exciting. Would you like to introduce yourselves real briefly?
I'm Alex from Valencia, California, where Magic Mountain is, and I went to Cal State Northridge.
Wonderful. And
Natan Dornbaum. I grew up in Westwood in Los Angeles, California, and I still go to University of Michigan. Go Blue.
Go Blue. Fantastic. I'm so excited to have you guys on.
Thanks for having us.
These two guys are actually from my internship at Atmosphere Entertainment. And I don't know why it took me so gosh freaking dang long to bring out some people from internships or just people who just aren't Mormon. Andrea is not Mormon, but she's from Utah. She knows what's like. These guys more out. They don't know what the bubble's like in Utah. Anyway, so that awkwardness said, Alex, we just want to jump into things. I would like you to tell us a little bit about what unique things have happened to you at your internship this summer. What have you learned? What's really stood out? And what are you going to take and carry with you the most as you move on past this summer?
I think at Atmosphere, Mike is really helpful with finding jobs, and he added us to that group and posts jobs all the time.
And that's, by the way, that's our supervisor, Mike Dwyer, who
He does not have a LinkedIn.
he does not have a LinkedIn, unfortunately. I occasionally share and like some of his stuff on Facebook. Anyway, go on. Mike is fantastic. Please continue talking about how amazing he is.
Yes, he's awesome, and I'm hoping to get a job after this one, a real paying job.
Oh, the money's good.
Because
Being paid is good.
this is my third unpaid internship, and I have been graduated for 6 months, so hopefully I can get a paid job.
It is time to get paid for something. 6 months out of school. Yeah.
And I think the other thing that's really stood out to me is he talks a lot about screenwriting. The plans and payoffs lesson really stood out to me. I can't watch a movie now without being like, oh, there's the plan, oh, there's the payoff. Toy Story 3, Finding Dory. I was in Finding Dory. I was like, oh my gosh, all these plans and payoffs. It's just like crazy.
Yeah, Mike is fantastic about his lessons about storytelling. My gosh, some of this stuff honestly has stuck to me a little more thoroughly than some stuff from my professors. Maybe because it was just so compact and coming from someone who was quite possibly a little bit cooler than my professors back at Provo. Anyway, is there anything else that you'd like to add on there?
I don't think so.
Yeah. All right, Natan, what about you? What has been unique for you this summer? What have you learned? What are you going to carry with you in the months and years ahead?
So, one of the biggest things I've taken away from this internship is just kind of generally the art of storytelling. I just feel like I've learned a lot about what goes into making a story and, making it believable, making it intriguing. And Mike has really helped kind of, with the plans and payoffs lesson, helped kind of explain and guide how that comes onto the page and how it developed into a real movie on the screen. I'm always watching movies now and I'm thinking, okay, like, is this believable? Is this like, are the characters, like people I really want to watch? Is the context of the movie or the TV world believable? And I had no idea that it was that intricate of a world.
And everything you watch, it's with a whole new eye.
Whole new eye, yeah. Whole new eyes.
What are some kind of industry insights that y'all have grasped that you don't think you'd have learned anywhere else?
I think it's being a dick is way more valuable than being a nice person. That's definitely one that sticks out.
Yeah, I remember. I don't think I've gotten a chance to share this on the podcast yet, but Mike shared with us on like one of our first lessons, one of the very first lessons that was taught to him by Mark Canton, the famous one.
The head of TriStar. Now the head of Atmosphere.
Head of that, yeah, very very connected guy. But the number one apparently golden rule of Hollywood, and I'm going to censor this just a little bit. The number one rule of Hollywood is if somebody has an opportunity to screw you over, they are going to screw you over. You can absolutely take that to the bank all the time, and you have to absolutely be wary of that out here.
After I actually asked Mike if he regards his boss as a friend, he revealed to us that going to work is, quote, like pledging a fraternity. And so that is not to discourage anyone to looking to get a job in the film industry, but it is definitely a cutthroat environment. It requires passionate people.
Were you guys there when Mike told us that Mark bought, what was it, a book or an IP for like 50 cents or something? And the guy didn't have a lawyer. So he just sold it, and it's like now it's his, and he can just make money off it.
Yeah, no, that was one of the things. There are stories of people off the blacklist with fantastic scripts that do well in the blacklist competitions and whatnot, and a producer can literally, and has been, and that is literally something that's happened, gone and bought this basically award-winning script and optioned it for $1, which is an insane amount. That is literally something that happens in Hollywood to people who just don't know any better. Yeah. It's a cutthroat environment for sure. Any other kind of like random things you want to toss in there on that subject before we move on?
Well, I think one of the coolest things about Atmosphere was that most of the scripts that we were reading had stars attached already. I know in my past internships it was like, do you want to get this movie started rolling? And Atmosphere was more like, well, we've already started. Do you guys want to help, finish it? So we had stars like, Sophie Turner and like Phil McDermott and people that were already in it. So like while I was reading, I was picturing them in the role. It was really, really cool.
That's cool.
Another thing I think was cool about the internship, even though I unfortunately didn't get the chance to do it, was that I think, Alex, you got to see a movie.
Oh, yeah.
That they produced in the office, right? Is that right? So you can get a first-hand account of the work that they've finished, which I think was pretty cool. They treat their interns with a lot of respect, I think.
Yeah, which is something I don't think that other internships. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you've had other internships. Is that? Yeah, that's something I want to ask. Like, how does this?
Very catered to us.
You've been to 2 other internships. How does this compare to other places and like how they respect their interns?
Well, okay, at Fox, I was kind of not the special intern, but like, okay, my dad worked at Fox, so I gave pretty much everyone already knew who I was, but then the people who didn't, I didn't tell them till the end, so like they were super impressed that like, oh, you're his kid. But like, I got access that the other interns didn't get. I got to go on the floor, the stage when they do news. I got to go in the control room. None of the other interns got to do that. At Phoenix, I got coffee. I made copies. I ran down to CAA. I ran down to FedEx. I ran all these errands for them on top of doing coverage. And I know Mike said at Atmosphere, when he interned there, it was like that too. He was running errands and stuff. But then when he got the job, he was like, I'm going to take all that out, and you guys are just going to do scripts and coverage, and that's it. So that was really, really nice that we really got to focus on story and not do the administrative duties. The phone was the worst at Phoenix. Like, every time the phone rang, your heart just started beating. You're like, what am I going to say? And then the intern phone was always, like, the worst one. So you'd answer, and they'd say, like, Mary Kelly from CAA, and you said some name not even close to Mary Kelly because that's what you heard. So it was like the phone was the worst. So I'm so glad we don't have to deal with that at
I mean, yeah, I think it's just like a smart move on Mike's part because he's just kind of, catering to the interns and helping them learn and like kind of skipping the like bullshit step of like having to like get coffee and do all the busy work that like isn't valuable to the interns. And so and now we're just like more connected to Mike, and like that's just like a stronger connection that we've built with him.
Well,
I think so.
I mean,
at least.
That's true. I'm not so sure that it's invaluable. I think for this internship, it was good. I think for this internship, that was good, but I feel like the combination of having that experience from Phoenix I think especially that I'm going for jobs now, I can go into the interview and they say, "Oh, are you used to, doing Outlook and answering phones?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I've done that." But like, if you don't have to do that, it's like you don't want to do that.
Right.
No, that's not fun.
Yeah, no.
I've done that sort of stuff at other jobs. I'm sure they're far less demanding than at Phoenix or an agency or something. But that's never fun.
No.
Just being just the miscellaneous office desk slave.
But it's like, what did they say? Did they say in your fraternity, you get out what you put in? It's like, you got to do the time before you can, be rewarded.
Yes,
So,
you have to
I
put in your
guess
time.
so,
That's a
yeah.
common thing. Do your time.
Yeah.
You have to
Do
do your
your
time in
time.
Hollywood. And once you've done your time, then you've magically earned something. Even if you're the worst person in
Right,
the world,
I guess.
you've done your time, I guess. I've heard that a few times.
So Hollywood is like a fraternity.
Pretty
Yes.
All right.
A really like the richest, grungiest fraternity in America.
Although I do say when people ask what do I want to do, I say I would clean toilets at Marvel for free. I would, just to get that in. Meet somebody walking in the bathroom, get a job.
I
would do that.
cleaned up Chris Pratt's piss.
Yeah, I would not do that. But,
I would do it at Bad Robot too, for sure.
Okay. That's fun. Anyways, so moving on to our next little bit. Internships at BYU, a lot of people that will be listening to this, they're a little foreign to us in the film program. It's not something a lot of us seem to do. First question, at your film schools, what is the kind of average number of internships that somebody has when they graduate, or roughly when they graduate? When like this is your third after you graduate, but like what's the standard deal with the internships there?
I think normally two. They usually try and get it so that when you graduate you have a job. So like to graduate, there's a requirement you need to have at least one internship. So they're really hoping that internship will lead into a job so that you're not unemployed after graduation.
It's good to not be unemployed.
so I actually can't answer that question with as much accuracy because I'm studying philosophy. So
wow, I didn't know
don't
that.
think a lot of philosophers get internships and eventually go into film. But I would say of the film majors I do know, it's probably around that number
2.
as well. Yeah.
Okay, after 2. Okay,
Yeah.
Is that your major?
Philosophy is my major. Yeah.
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm
I may
minoring in
have
film,
known
yeah.
that, but
I think
completely
I
forgotten.
said it, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
I blocked it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool and
Yeah.
unexpected.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Could use some philosophy in Hollywood.
Right.
Could write a
Some,
lot of good
some
stories with
deeper
that.
thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes well with film, I think.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
no,
definitely.
absolutely.
There's some great stories you could definitely tell with that.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
You know who I hear is really
Alex.
into philosophy?
That's gross, huh?
You know who I hear is really into philosophy? My girl Brie Larson. She loves philosophy.
Really? She
Oh,
does?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah?
she's super
Damn.
smart.
I have not heard that. That's
That-
that's
yeah,
nice.
That's very cool.
You can be in with Captain Marvel.
I will Facebook message her and tell her I'm into philosophy as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tell her I love her too.
You can share her. But there's enough for Brie Larson
Yeah.
for everybody, I guess.
It was so awesome at the Oscars. Her boyfriend's named Alex, so it was like, "Thank you, Alex." And I was like, "You're welcome. You're welcome."
How did you learn she's into philosophy? How did you learn she was into philosophy?
So I went to a room screening, and she did Q&A after, and she was talking about how she's super into philosophy and these great storytelling, and I actually just saw that she's going to direct a movie, and I'm like, she's so smart. Like, it's amazing.
Awesome. That's a random thing to come up in an interview.
yeah,
That's
so
cool.
I'm so into philosophy. I'm gonna direct a film.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So
it's
into
a perfect match.
philosophy,
You just
yeah.
got to get her off of her current
She just
current
slipped it.
Alex boyfriend.
They're engaged. It's
It's Hollywood. Everybody gets divorced like 10 times. You'll just catch her on like the 3rd or 4th marriage.
yeah.
So next thing I want to talk about something that I've not gotten a chance to talk about at all on the podcast so far, because everybody that I've talked to that's out here, they all have cars, but some people who want to come out here to do internships do not have cars, and there are alternative means of transportation. In particular, We have Lyft and Uber, which are like the in-between public transportation car thing. Alex, you have a great deal of experience getting to and fro work using Lyft and Uber. Some of us, like, I don't even have the app. I have never, ever, ever used Uber or Lyft. Would you please give me a rundown, a brief, just rundown of like how it works, and then what your experience has been like trying to get to work and home using that?
So basically, you turn on your location on your phone and you say request Lyft, and they come to you, and it's amazing, whenever you want, and then they drive you wherever you want to go, no matter how far it is. But the further it is, the more it is. But
Of course.
you know, but it's actually really cool. I use Lyft more than Uber just because I always ask the driver. They usually do both. They usually drive Uber and Lyft, and they usually say they like Lyft better. I don't know why. I think maybe they get paid more. I don't know. They say Lyft has more customers.
I've gone that as well.
Yeah, they say Lyft has more customers, but like it's more fun to drive Lyft. So I always do Lyft just because I feel like I get a happier ride that way. If the driver's happier, I'll be happier. So I do that. And then usually it's really interesting because the drivers and some of the passengers are usually like actors, or they're in the entertainment industry in some way. They have some connection. There's one guy who was his family is like the babysitter for what's her name, the queen on Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah, Daenerys.
No. The mom.
Cersei.
Cersei Lannister.
Yes.
Cersei.
Yes.
What's her real name?
Yeah, we should know her real name.
Yeah, I know it. Lena Headley.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I was like, she plays Sarah
beautiful.
Connor. I wanted to say Linda Hamilton, but I was like, that's not right. That was the T2 Sarah Connor. Okay. So Lena Headley, they were like her babysitters. So they like go to the Game of Thrones set with her. Like they're super close with her. And I was like, this guy's giving me a Lyft ride right now. Like I have a huge poster, Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles in my room. I'm like, I was thinking like, can you have her sign it? You know, there's like actors, everybody's like connected, especially in LA. So it's really, really cool, like to take Lyft and like, you know, broaden your horizon. I've traded numbers with Lyft drivers for like entertainment purposes.
That's
It's really
awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to meet people.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a
I agree.
real legitimate networking opportunity.
Oh yeah.
That's spectacular.
Especially for actors, because a lot of them like aren't getting as much work as they would like, so they just turn to Lyft.
I
Wow.
lifted with a guy who did special effects for Steven Spielberg.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah, he was really bagging on what's it called? CIG? The new
CGI.
Oh,
CGI,
yeah.
yeah. He's like, don't do CGI, man. At the end of the lift, right?
Practical
Yeah.
effects
You
all
ever
the
be
way.
practical.
You ever
you
do
know?
effects, don't do CGI.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll probably just need another lift from point A to point B. I'll keep that in mind.
So literally, you just get the app, you plug in your credit card information, and then just say like, "Hey, pick me up right here," and then somebody magically shows up in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, they magically show up with a pink mustache in their windshield, and then you know that that's the Lyft. And yeah, but also, so they have Lyft, and then they have this thing called Lyft Line, which is cheaper, and it's like you share your ride. So if there's somebody on the way going in the same direction, they'll pick them up too. So it's like a cheaper set price than if you were to just do Lyft. I've taken, let's see, I took Line one time from my internship to my apartment. It was like $19. Got stuck in traffic from a fire. I was in the car for like 2 hours. And it was still the same price. So it was awesome. Usually it like goes up per minute and per mile.
Oh, that's not fair. And
Yeah.
well, okay, actually, I guess it kind of is because
It's cheaper than a cab still.
Yeah,
So,
it is cheaper than a cab. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Regardless, it would go up because I mean, they're paying for gas, like sitting there.
Yeah.
They need, money.
And cab drivers hate it. Like one time I took a cab and asked him what he thought, and he was like, "Oh, it should be illegal."
Yeah,
Like I'm like,
They
dude,
went
like
on strike in
it's a
Mexico
free country. Like
last summer.
The taxi drivers did.
Taxi drivers, because they said the Ubers were stealing their jobs.
yeah.
It's frowned upon in some places for sure.
Yeah, Austin. I don't know if y'all know about this. Austin's some other city. There's a big controversy. Long story short, the city of Austin wanted to do more thorough background checks on Lyft and Uber drivers. Lyft and
ridiculously
Uber
easy to
didn't want to do that, even though I think Austin was going to help pay for it. I can't remember. Not important. But basically, Austin wanted them to do something with background checks. Lyft and Uber were like, no. There was this kind of measure that was put on the ballots last election about like, I can't remember what the resolution was. But basically, the resolution would have made everything better for Lyft and Uber. Like they wouldn't have had to have worried about stuff. And then when it failed, Lyft and Uber like, screw you guys, and left Austin. Austin does not have very large. Like I think Austin is the 7th largest city in the U.S. No Lyft or Uber. Wow. And in their wake, it has been filled in by some like other people, like basically Lyft Uber knockoffs that are like only in Austin.
I honestly don't know how we would survive here without Uber and Lyft. I can't imagine what would happen. What would all those drunk girls do? How do they get places?
I can see this short.
Take the metro? No.
Oh, I mean, in LA, but yeah.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
But I can see this short happening. Like these cab drivers are like so depressed. Like Lyft is taking over the world, and it's like, wait, Austin doesn't have Lyft.
It's gonna move to Austin.
Migrate
to
Austin.
Yeah,
taxi driver migration.
Yep. And that's another thing. The taxis services started making Uber-like apps as well to simplify things. So if Uber and Lyft like ever go back to Austin, like they're gonna have a heck of a hard time like squeezing back in. For one thing, all the drivers are gonna be pissed because they fired the drivers. Just done.
Wow.
And they gave them, I think, like 3 days warning or something. Like they said, if the ballot measure failed, they were going to leave. So there was that hanging. And then as soon as it like didn't pass, they said, okay, like 3 days, we're done. So all of a sudden, all these people, like that was their main source of income. No job. Bam. So that kind of sucks. Whew. Anywho, let's see. So you, Alex, you're used to LA and whatnot. That's I can't remember. Where'd you grow up, Natan?
Westwood by UCLA.
Okay, so y'all are both used to LA, basically.
A lot of good Pokemon.
Quite used to it. Yeah.
So you haven't like learned anything being out here this summer about what it's like. Okay.
I mean,
anything.
I've learned the traffic.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
I was reminded about the traffic.
Yeah.
Still the worst thing about this place.
Commute to Westwood, and that was a nightmare from the valley.
I probably could have.
405, awful. Yeah.
I was just gonna say I probably could have parked my car on Sunset when I couldn't find parking before this podcast.
That's right. Yeah, you spent 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was
trying to find parking.
15-minute drive. I was in my car for an hour 15. Got to know the area very well though.
I should have like asked Mike if he would just let me like do the podcast in the office.
Yeah,
that would have been so much easier.
That would have been really cool.
Been like,
so
sure,
much
man,
easier.
Sure, that's fine.
He totally would have probably too. Yeah, I just could have gone in the conference room and it would have been easy peasy. Yeah. Okay, well, let's wrap things up, I guess, and let's end the show with what I always like to end the show with: awkward moments from everybody's lives. Would either of you like to start and share an awkward story?
You go, Alex. You go.
I have a
that was my awkward moment right now. Me and Alex competing for who shares an awkward moment.
And I won. Okay. So this was actually a few months ago. I think it was during the internship. There's this thing called Club 90s. Club 90s is the best. It's basically they rent out a club and they go and they just play 90s music. It's Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, NSYNC, stuff around that era. So stuff you like grew up on. It's all nostalgic. So I went to, what was it? TRL night. So it was the countdown to the best TRL videos for all you people born before 2000. You know what I'm talking about. So I went to that, and it was the countdown, and I was dancing on stage, and I was like kind of dancing with this girl, like not really dancing with her, but like next to her. And we were like eyeing each other, and I was like, okay. And then they played the song No Scrubs. And I was like, okay, that was number one. And I'm like, all right, so I got to ask for a number now. So I asked for a number. And then she says, I swear to you, it's like, you know, the pounding club music. You can't really hear what she's saying. And I swear she said, what's your dad's name when she took my phone. And I was like, this is such a weird question. Like, what's my dad's name? And so I verbally said, what's my dad's name? And I was like, Roger, what's your dad's name? And she says,
oh, man.
She says, I don't have a dad. Oh. And I was like, oh, man. And so, of course, she didn't text back because I reminded her of her dead father.
Oh.
So she probably never even asked you what your dad's name is, right? Because you just couldn't hear what she said.
Yeah, I have no idea. Somebody I told my friend this once, and she said something that made so much more sense, but I can't remember what it was now.
What's your dad's name?
I have no idea what that would be. Like, it was so embarrassing. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened.
What's your
I don't have
What's
a
your
dad.
dad's?
What
I
rhymes
don't
with what's
have
your
a
dad's?
dad.
And I felt like going, everybody
Want to
has
come
a
to
dad.
my place? What's your dad's name?
It was so bad.
Oh, that's rich. Thank you. Thank you. That was a fantastic story.
I have a variety of awkward moments from my life, but I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I was at a party, I think like last summer.
Uh-huh.
Ran into a female I went to high school with, hadn't seen in a while. Wasn't very close to, but I think she's pretty attractive. Hadn't talked to her. And the one memory I had with her was when I went to her house to do a project, and her dog was like really crazy, one of those little kind of furry, just way too aggressive dogs,
yeah.
and it was getting all
Keepers.
up in my grill and like trying to bite me. So I saw her at the party like, hi, like, Lily, how have you been? Like, it's been a while. I was like, good. And first thing that came to mind, I was like, how's your dog? And she's like, are you serious right now? And I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? I'm like, my dog died like 2 months ago. She said that to me. And I was like, oh my God, like, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. And that's it. But yeah, then she
Morbid
came
stories.
over, and this has been my girlfriend of 2 years now.
Wow.
No, she isn't. I'm joking.
How did
I'm
you recover
joking.
from that? You got to tell me.
Well, how did I recover? I don't know.
From my dog's
I don't think
dead.
there is any recovery.
I don't think I recovered. I think
There is no recovery.
I think
It's-
I
it's
just saw her
done.
next time, and you know.
Oh, I thought you said that was your girlfriend.
No, he,
No. That was a joke. That was a
oh,
joke.
he,
Yeah.
he's
No,
joking.
I was super impressed.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like that would have
Keeping
been
your
like the
ways.
greatest save
Right?
of
Oh, no.
all time.
Yeah. I just on the spot was like, "Do you want to go out with me?" That was how I
Your
saved
dog's
it.
dead. Oh no.
Look,
We
I'll
should
take you
date
out.
and get you over your grief.
Right.
You
Yeah.
just gotta
Yeah.
top it. Be like, my dad's dead.
Oh, man.
My dad's dead.
Let's go ahead.
Well,
Pizza.
I have a fantastic story. I was gonna share something else, but this is gonna be perfect with the stories that y'all both shared. This is fantastic. So I was a Boy Scout growing up.
Me too.
Yeah, Scouts were the best. I love Scouts. I was an Eagle Scout in the end.
Yeah, Eagle
It's
Scout.
fantastic. I don't know if I don't think I put that on my resume anymore. I don't think anybody cares
I still
about that.
did.
Maybe I should. We'll see. Anyway, but in my troop, we had like only 3 adult leaders, and there was this one guy, an older guy, like he was like honestly at least 70. I think he'd been like Vietnam or something. He was old fellow. And I guess he had married a woman quite a bit younger than him. It may have been his like second wife or something. Anyway, this younger woman that he married, and by the way, he was a fantastic guy. Loved him as a troop leader. And he and his wife had a girl, and that girl was my age. I went to school with her. It was a while before I figured out that this girl I went to school with was, her dad was one of my troop leaders. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I remember he got sick, really sick. And we're in the troop meeting, and this is a troop that meets in like a Baptist church. And so we'd, prayed for him, whatnot before the meeting. And we really, wanted him to get better. I think we may have even written cards for him or something. Anyway, some time went on, and I didn't hear anything about the situation. And I'm in the cafeteria at school, and this is by the way, either middle school, junior high, 6th grade maybe or something. Not super old. Anyway, I'm in the cafeteria, and I'm in line to get lunch, and I realize that this girl is standing 2 people behind me. I'm like, hey, and I hadn't seen her in a while. I was like, hey, by the way, how's your dad doing? And there's this conversation going. All of a sudden, conversation stops. He just looks me right in the eye and just goes, he died.
Oh,
And I was just like, oh, no. Oh, I felt so bad.
did you ever suspect that he was
No, I had no idea that he was dead. I just hadn't heard, nobody in the troop had said anything
Wow.
about him having died.
It's kind of strange with like Facebook and everything now. Like usually you're like,
Yeah,
"Did
no,
know?"
you hear about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
these in the
Right.
the few short years just before Facebook, and
It's a lot
it
of
was
likes.
if Facebook. This is why Facebook exists.
Yeah.
Facebook exists to keep me
That
from
status
asking
has got
about
a
dead
lot of
people
likes.
in
Oh,
real
totally.
life. And I felt so bad, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And she's just like, it's okay. Like, he's dead. Like, you know,
There's nothing you
It's a
can do.
thing. There's nothing. It's just a thing. Thanks for reminding me about my dead dad.
So the moral of all these awkward stories is to read the obituary. Every
Yeah,
time, every
read the
time you leave your
obituary
house.
and find out
So you
like
know who's dead.
so you know who's dead, whose dad's dead, whose dog's dead.
Yes.
Don't
Yeah.
talk to people asking about their relatives.
You know that's
Randomly.
that's a
Yeah.
good point. Don't ask about people's relatives
Don't be too
or
polite.
dogs.
How are they doing?
Don't be too polite. Just
Or lives for
Right.
that matter.
if there's any chance they could be dead, just avoid the subject.
Assume everyone's dead.
Assume. There we go.
There we go.
Assume everybody's dead.
All right.
Well, that's a fantastic note to end on. We'll wrap up the show right there. Alex Atan, thank you so much. Do either of you have Twitter, or would you like people to be able to tweet at
I
you?
do have Twitter at
Natan Dornbaum,
At
I
Natan
think is my
Dornbaum.
handle. That's my name.
All right. Javi, email it to me, and I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I have LinkedIn, Tinder, JDate. You know,
JDate.
all the
There
good
you go.
stuff.
J-Date. Find them on J-Date.
JDate. Yeah.
I forgot to mention that. I have 2 Jew guys.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
2 Jew guys.
I mean,
Really
I
nice.
mean,
I believe the adjective is Jewish.
Jewish.
2 Jewish
Two
guys,
Jewish guys. Yes, I guess that's more politically
All my
correct, I
Mormon friends call
suppose.
me their Jew friend. It's okay.
The Jew friend. It's nice. I didn't really. Yeah, it's true. I now have Jew friends. I haven't had Jew
Yes.
friends before now. It's nice.
It's a fish.
Yes, I think my Twitter. I think it's at AlexHoward11.
Alex Howard 11. Okay, both y'all email me. I'll put your Twitter tags,
Instagram.
things.
Natan Dornbaum.
Put anything you want me to put in the show
Facebook.
notes. Put it in there,
Natan Dornbaum.
and people can look you up, and they can see
Phone
they attach
number.
faces to your sexy Jewish faces.
Phone number 310-415-0040.
Oh, he
we're
just
getting
actually gave his
personal.
phone number. Fantastic. Please
And
text.
my Instagram is me and my blazer. That's right.
And my email is njdorren@umish.edu.
Okay,
What's
yeah,
your
we're just
social
gonna put
security?
everyting in there.
Stillincollege.edu.
I
College
cannot wait
educated.
until this podcast actually gets to where it has thousands of downloads and listeners. You are just
Yeah.
gonna have to throw away that phone because you'll have
Oh,
so many
no,
people texting
really?
you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, no, it's fine.
Uh,
I'll deal with it.
and then of course my Twitter tag. Please, everybody, if you have any questions, comments, reasons why I'm dumb, let me know at my Twitter. I am at Weston_Cross. That is Weston with an I. Again, that's gonna be in the show notes. Hit me up on Twitter, and please, if you're listening to this, I think there's about 5 or 6 people I got listening to this at the moment. There was somebody in Switzerland person. If you're listening to this, shoot me something on Twitter. I would love to hear from you. Or if anybody wants to be super duper awesome, go on to iTunes and subscribe to the podcast. Give us a review, a rating, anything like that, please. Anything like that would be fantastic. We are now completely available on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and on YouTube. So any of those places you want to tell us something, reviews, please do so, especially on iTunes, though. It'd be fantastic. Anyway, that is all we have for today. Thank you so much for
And
fantastic.
R.I.P. Harambe.
R.I.P. Harambe. God
R.I.P.
bless
Harambe. Let's not
And
forget.
everybody, please have a fan-freaking-tastic day.